Hi there. I'd like to show you something really interesting today. Hopefully you'll find it interesting anyway. I recently learned from a book, I'll have to find the name of the book and the author later because I don't remember, that succulent plants have a very interesting ability. They produce an enzyme that helps them digest rocks. They essentially eat rocks. The enzyme breaks down the rocks that they're planted in, and then they consume the nutrients. So here you can see in my plant collection, I have a number of succulents. Here is Succulent. That one I don't know the name. If anybody knows, please tell me. That's a cactus, I'm pretty sure. A little flower developing there. It's already given me two really pretty dark purple flowers. That's a Chrysula. I'm not sure how well that one's doing. And then a bunch more down here. Chrysula, Calancho, more Chrysulas. There's a burrow's tail. That one there. Let's see, more Chrysula. There's another cactus behind there. More cactus. And then there's another kind of cactus down there. And then let me show you my non-succulents. There's tomato. That's cucumber, Barbados cherry. That's loofah something, I don't remember the scientific name exactly. That's a bean plant with a cucumber plant in there, and then some sugar apples, and I think there's another cucumber plant growing here. Why are there three different kinds of plants in one spot? Well, just a habit I have of throwing seeds into any place I can find. I know I need to be more organized about that. So there's no real reason why I did that. Here's watermelon. You can see there are at least 5 different watermelon plants there for the same reason. And another bean plant with cucumber growing in there. Again, just because, no reason behind that. And you can see they're all planted in bottles. Let me show you. Just like that. It's a simple water bottle. There you go. Cut the top off. And then turn it upside down and put it back in. These particular water bottles I've found to be wonderful because of the shape. You've got a long tapered neck that fits very conveniently inside. And it seems like a very efficient use of space. I've seen other bottles that have rounded necks, some that have a really long neck, but whenever I see one of these on the street, I go and pick it up. So you could buy them, you could pick them up for free on the street, even help the city, picking up litter and stuff. Okay, so they're planted in bottles. The bottle, like the Kratky method, right? You got the water down at the bottom, the roots grow, and as they grow, they consume the water, but the entire root system is not covered so that the plant can get oxygen. Well, the idea behind this video, this system that I'm using here, is it's a continuation or an adaptation of the Kratky method, but with a twist. I'm calling it the living algae method, or the succulent method. I haven't decided yet. Why? Well, let me explain a couple of things. First, let's look at the rocks. You can see these little rocks, these little stones. People here call them pisaha. I live in Brazil, in the northeast of Brazil, Piauí. People here don't seem to know much about these rocks, but they're everywhere. And I can tell you from their color and the variations in color that I think they have lots of nutrients inside of them, lots of minerals probably. They look sedimentary to me. I'm no expert though. And okay, so here we see the succulents. Like the book that I was reading says that succulents have the ability to sort of digest the rocks that they're planted in through their enzymes. Well, that's the idea behind this system. You take a succulent, put it above whatever plant you want to water, water the succulent, water goes down, it'll carry some of the nutrients and some of the enzymes down into the soil, and then that in turn goes down into the reservoir. And then the roots of whatever plant it is will pick up whatever nutrients there are. But at the same time, my theory, anyway, is that the algae that's growing inside of the water is also consuming the nutrients and hopefully incorporating the enzymes. Now, there's a very interesting evidence that supports this. First, let's look at the bean plant. Now look at the size of this bean plant. It's not very big, right? Pretty small still. But look at the size of the roots. I don't know a lot about beans, but that looks like a pretty long root system to me. Now, I've never heard of anybody doing hydroponic beans before. There's probably a good reason for that. Beans are nitrogen fixers, and as I understand the nitrogen fixation system or cycle, the microorganisms that fix nitrogen, uh, they die when they come into contact with oxygen. Now, if I'm wrong about this, anybody, please correct me. I'm no expert on how this all works. So you can see down in there, the root system is immersed in water, but not completely. So part of it is obviously in contact with oxygen. Now, I don't know what the effect is going to be on the bean plant as a nitrogen fixer. I'm sure it will be good for other plants, like the cucumbers probably. Now let's see. Oh, so what's my evidence? Well, it's the smell. The smell of the water is amazing. Normally when you smell water that's full of algae, it smells terrible. Especially when it's brown or that red algae. It smells terrible. But this does not. This smells amazing. It smells like vegetables. And so, why is it called the living algae method? Well, my goal here is to cultivate the plants and the algae at the same time. And how does that work? Well, you take whatever water you have, which is the water down at the bottom of these reservoirs. Then you water the succulents, and that water goes down through the soil that the plants are planted in, and then it comes down here. And I try to do it once a day in order to keep the algae cycling. It's very important to keep in an algae grow in a system where you're growing algae. It's important to keep it cycling, and that's what it's doing. It's aerating the water because the algae produces oxygen, and it's also full of nutrients from the little rocks. And the succulents are producing enzymes that are helping the plants and algae consume those nutrients. At least that's what I hope is happening here. I guess I'll probably post another video in a couple of weeks, maybe. I don't know, I haven't decided yet, just to see the progress. But so far, I am very excited about this, and I hope you like it.